Okay.
Great. I think we're ready. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Iron County Commission meeting. I hope everyone had all the fathers out there had a great Father's Day. I know I did. My daughter gave me a shirt. I told her that that's the only day I'd ever wear it. So if you see a picture of it, you know, you might be lucky. But anyway, I wore it yesterday to make her feel good. But anyway, it was a fun day. I appreciate those that made it special for us. So we're meeting today in this commission meeting on the 22nd day of June, 2020. And sorry for the delay. We had a few little technical problems, but we will begin this morning with a prayer offered by Terry Palmer, our building director, building department director, and then our pledge will be led by Nicole Rosenberg, our treasurer.
Our Father in heaven, as we come before thee this time as leaders of the county, we're grateful for the opportunity we have to serve the public here. We pray, Father in heaven, thou continually guide us and direct us, that we'll know of the will and the things that would be the best for this county, that we can help it grow and prosper, that we'll be able to serve in our capacities that we've been appointed to, that we'll be able to make those decisions that would be in the best interest of this country and for this county. We pray for the leaders of our state also, for their direction, that they may be wise in their directions that they give down to our counties and the cities. Again, we're grateful to be able to serve in this county, and we pray for our commissioners that they may be directed as they serve thee. And this we give thanks for. In the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. We will now move to the minute approval portion of our meeting, and we have minutes to approve of June 8th, 2020. Is there any questions regarding the minutes? I did have one. I had John add, there was a statement we read regarding the concert that was held. I had John add that to the minutes, the public statement we made there. But other than that, the way we were sent, they were sent to us.
I would move for approval of the minutes dated June 28th, 2020.
June 8th?
What date was it?
8th. June 8th.
June 8th, yes. I was like, I think I got that right.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of June 8th, 2020. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We will go to departmental reports, and the first up is building. Terry.
Well, good morning. I think John's going to try to pull up what Chelsea has sent over, but you also got to have a copy there with you that I handed out before. Are we finding that, John? Okay. I don't know if I can read my little paper. I didn't bring my glasses in today. So, all right, if we go to that second page. This page here is just a month-end report for May 20th, for May 2020. That top column is for the Iron County in the unincorporated areas. The current month of May end, we had 38 permits issued. Year to date, it went bye-bye. Year to date was 126. That is the 2020 number. In 2019 to year to date, at the end of May, we had issued 216. So we can see our numbers are up there. Parowan City, we are down year to date there. From 2020 to 2019, we're down some there. Bryan Head Town, we are up on there, 6 this year compared to 1 last year. Canaryville, we're down 2 from this year compared to last year. Paraguna Town, we're down 3 there. So for the month end, May, our numbers overall, we're still looking pretty good there. We go to that next page. Oh, on the one side it says, and if you can go back that one, June 19th, on the right side, as of June 19th, we've issued 27 permits for the month, and that's up to last Friday. For all of June last year, we're at 53 for the month, and we have a whole bunch right now sitting ready to issue. So we've still got a week and a half of numbers to come up there, so we're looking good there for the month of June.
Terry, do you still issue a lot of solar permits that count as building permits?
On houses,
Yeah.
yes, we've got quite a few.
Because that can skew it a little bit, right?
It can, and on this next one, I think it's broke out just a little bit on the solar. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember how she had it on there. Yeah, it's got solar system on there, so it does break out a little bit. But up to this point this year, we had not. With this month in June, we've started seeing a lot more of solar permits being issued. A lot more people got, I think, a little nervous with the COVID and started getting solar put on their houses again. So we're seeing that, but it's not enough still to skew it too bad, because our numbers, if we look at this one here, our numbers, that first column is single-family dwellings. If we go to the bottom of that first two, we've got single-family dwellings. 2019, we had 42 issued. 2020, we've got 46 issued on single-family dwellings. So our numbers for single-family dwellings are still up overall this year so far compared to last year. We're up 4 on that in the county side. Additions, that second column, additions and remodel, 2019 we had 20, 2020 we had 20. So we've seen a lot more remodels and stuff with all this going on. People bringing kids home from school and stuff. We've had a lot of remodels with bedrooms and stuff getting finished, and basements and stuff and additions. And then we go to our accessory in that third column. 2019 we had 31. I can't tell if that's a 31 or a 21.
31.
I didn't bring my glasses. So we're down a few on accessory buildings. Our accessory buildings are generally detached garages, sheds, and that type of stuff on that accessory. Our solar, you can see 2020, we are up 11 over last year. So we're getting a little more nervous about the power, public utility power and stuff. So they started seeing more solar systems put in on houses. Our gas piping and electrical service upgrades and stuff, that one stays quite consistent because of farmers bringing wells in, upgrading their wells because of issues, houses upgrading, and new gas services coming in on that one. So we've got some there that stayed pretty consistent on that one. Our commercial, we have 2 last year and 2 this year to this point, so staying pretty steady right there. And that's just the unincorporated in the county area. If we go down to the bottom sections, back up. If we go down to the bottom sections, we got the first one, overall permits. This is combined with Parowan, Paraguna, Bryan Head, and Canaryville. Overall, we are down 4 permits this year right now at this point over last year on single-family overall permits. Our single-family dwellings were down quite a few on that in the county because we're seeing more stay out in the county instead of Parowan and Paraguna and those because of the fees, which is what we're being told. So I think we'll still see some change on that in the towns and stuff go up there. Our additions are pretty close from last year to this year. Our accessories are down just a little bit like we showed up above. Our solar are up some this year between the combined, and our gas and electrical is about even there, and then the commercial was still right there the same. Overall, on the very bottom line, you'll see our overall permits, we are down 4 as overall numbers. Single-family dwellings combined overall, we are down 13 overall for all what we cover in the county and the towns that we contract with. Our additions were up 4. Our accessories were down a few. Our solars, like we said, we're up quite a few on that. And then the electrical and mechanical, or a commercial, holding out the same there. If we go to the last page here, here's kind of just a breakdown of what's happened from my last report in March to current date as of Friday. We've had 97 new applications submitted. 88 have been reviewed. We've done 152 inspections. Might not seem like a lot, but that keeps us running in the county. We cover a lot of area, so it keeps us running there. Down in this bottom corner, we've got the zoning concerns, and that's been a big concern for us all the time. We've sent out 22 first notification letters, and what that is just a letter stating, hey, you've got zoning violations. Please contact us within 7 days to let us know what's going on. If we can get things cleaned up. That next one is 18 certified letters, meaning we've sent out 18 letters that give them 30 days to get their property cleaned up or come in and work with us on an agreement to work and clean up their property. And we've seen some pretty good turnaround on that. We've had probably, I didn't get a check on that this morning, but we probably had 8 or 10 of those that have been cleaned up that have been calling in before previously from neighbors on complaints there. So we are seeing some getting cleaned up, some cleaning up, change around on all that stuff. So we're trying to do some zoning there, get some stuff cleaned up.
Thanks a lot for that. That's been done for a long time.
And it is, and as we've said before, that's one of our big concerns is trying to catch up with the zoning stuff, and we're trying, but it's always a big fight and a big issue to try to work with people to keep rights in place and work with them to get stuff cleaned up. But
It's mostly that cleanup.
it is, and that's what we want is to get cleaned up so that we've got safety taken care of, so that there's no health issues that come about from it. So that's what we have. Is we're staying busy. Got a lot of permits still into review. A lot of them that are ready to go. We think the economy, as far as finances, are turning around a little bit. We're finding out the banks are starting to loan a little bit more money. So hopefully we'll still see it stay continuous how it is right now. Any other questions? Anything we need to deal with? One thing I do want to let you know is I was contacted by the Division of Occupational Professional Licensing last week to see if I'd be willing to sit on another committee for them. So if you're okay, I will send a response to that to sit on a mechanical code review with them.
I think that's great. I think the more interaction we can have with different entities and be involved in those processes, it only benefits us. So,
All right. Okay.
Okay, thank
I
you.
appreciate Terry and I interact a lot, and I've been
Yes.
working on these zoning things, and it's really, it's really good to see that those things are starting to come into compliance.
Thank you.
I'm glad those people are stepping up.
And they
Fantastic.
are. And most of them, once they get that letter, says, "Hey, what can we do?" And we want to work with them, and that's what my main goal is, to work with them. And I've got some good guys that are working with them to help them too. So,
Excellent.
Right. And hey, tell Nate thanks for the.
okay.
He did a
Absolutely.
sneeze guard for the. I went over and took some measurements and gave him some sizes, and he got that sneeze guard made for the extension service. Tell him
I'll let him know. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
That's what I have.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm gonna go in the field now.
Okay, all right.
Get out of here.
Get to work. All right, so that took care of zoning and building then. So we'll go to engineer, Steve Platt.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Commissioners, you've seen this list before. Some things are new, some things have been crossed off, but I only want to talk about the yellow, unless you want to talk about some more items. And for the next time I do this, I'll have it up on the screen and be sophisticated. Okay. Number one, our budget's on track. Number two, you'll recall the Forest Service, after the Bryan Head fire, gave us $700,000 to build 2 bridges off of Highway 143, one in first left hand and one in second left hand. Carter Brothers are the contractor for those items. The bridges are finished. The paving across the bridges will be done by Sunrock the middle of July. So just a couple of things to get those 2 bridges completed. The total bid for the project was $711,000. The Forest Service gave us the $700,000. That $11,000 can come out of my special projects, so we should have enough money to cover all that construction.
Steve, while you're there, will that big pile of material just east of the first left-hand bridge, will it be removed as part of the contract?
It certainly will, and Carters are starting that this week to get all those piles removed.
I
They
was up
wanted
there.
to wait a week until Sunrock was going to pave, and I said, for heaven's sakes, don't wait on Sunrock. Go get your work done.
Yeah. I was up there chasing errant cows yesterday, and I said right there. So.
Chased it around the pile.
Yeah, pretty much.
That should be taken care of.
No, they always foul up on Sunday. You try to have a day off, and cows will. Anyway.
It's the cow in the mire, not the ox.
Yeah.
We have 2 crushing contracts going. Mel Clark is crushing in the Cedar City pit, both simultaneously trying to make road base and chips. That hasn't worked out as well as he and we had hoped it would. His production on chips has been very slow, so as of last week, he didn't move his crusher, but he moved the chip crushing operation down to his pit where he has a new crusher. He has about 2,000 cubic yards already crushed at our site. The contract was 5,000, so he'll crush an additional 3 down there. The quantity for his base gravel was 10,000. He should finish crushing that at our pit. So that's his progress. We're watching his gradation tests daily to make sure he gets paid appropriately. Gilberts are crushing in the Parowan pit north of the racetrack. They're doing well. They're crushing 30,000 cubic yards. After Parowan knew that Iron County had signed a contract with them, Kelly Stones came to me, said, Steve, we'd like to piggyback for $10,000, 2,000 cubic yards. Would you allow us to do that? And I talked with Commissioner Adams, and he said, yes, that would be fine. And then after Parowan had asked for that favor, Brian had asked for the same favor for the same quantity. So when Keith gets through crushing 30,000 for us, then he'll do 10,000 for Parowan and 10,000 for Brian Head.
He was willing to honor the same price.
Yes, Gilbert's will honor the same price. I'll measure the quantity so we see that both of those entities get paid correctly. They will pay us, and we will pay Gilbert's.
So it'll be a change order on our contract, and then
I don't know that I even need to make a change order. It's just between Parowan and Keith, but I'm the paymaster, but we'll work it out. It shouldn't be difficult. The next yellow item on the list is begin restoration of the 5 Mile campground. Alma's anxious to get going on that. We have a reluctant forest ranger that doesn't want to let us in there, but I told him.
Till we get the permit.
Yes, we'll get a permit eventually. But based on the need to clean a flood channel, we're going to be starting there in about a week. I will contact Steve O'Neill to make sure we do everything there that they want us to do.
I thank Steve for that. He came up with that. Well, we don't need a permit to go in and work on a flood channel. And when I called Veronica, I finally got a hold of her. She says, well, yeah, I'll just have him talk to Steve O'Neill, and the 2 of them can do the engineering. And so that'll be good to get that stuff. That's the main thing. Well, it really needs to be done first because we've still got 3 streams where we're supposed to be 1.
Yeah.
Get that water where it's supposed to be, and then it'll be easier to clean up the rest of it. So
is there supposed to be water down through where it washed out by the culvert? Is there supposed to be any water right there or not?
well, just through the that's the lower end of it.
So there should be 2 places where water.
No, just one.
Just
one stream. But up at that upper end.
well, there's just one stream supposed to go through the culvert. That's it.
Yeah.
Not to the south.
Just no.
Any
Just
of
one.
the-
It's up at the east end where the flood channel kind of takes a turn, and instead of taking the turn, it just blew out the bank, and it just went everywhere. And so that all needs to be fixed and just brought back into one channel.
Item number 9, as of last Friday, we had a meeting with a citizen at the Tipple Bridge. That's a CCC structure on the Canary Mountain Road. We're bringing some rocks to do some riprap to widen that road there a little where it's eroded. Curtis will be there all this week, and then we'll widen the road. We'll protect the bridge with barriers or guardrail. We haven't exactly seen where that'll go yet, and Preston will chip seal it in a year, so that'll be safer.
So Steve, that landowner we met with was very impressed that you jumped on that quick. So thank you.
He probably saw us hauling rocks the next day.
Yes, he was very impressed. So.
Okay. Commissioners, I have included also on the last page here a to-do list for Curtis, just so you know where the machine is, what it's doing. And these are our priorities, not necessarily in order, but that's where Curtis will be working on those 11 items over the next 6 months. Do you have any questions?
What's RWWTP? That acronym's escaping me.
Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant,
Oh, yeah.
Cedar Cities.
Okay, thanks.
There's always plenty to do for Curtis, isn't there?
Yeah, there's 5 valleys, and we need flood channels in every one of them.
It's good.
Thank you.
Great report. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see. We'll go to the landfill. Bruce.
Want the road department, he gave me the stuff. Do you want me to
Oh,
tell you
well,
what
I
he said?
didn't see him, so yeah. Have you got his stuff?
Yeah.
That's great.
He asked me to, if that's okay.
You bet. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Sorry, it's my first day. I've never been up here at the road department. Steve talked on some of this stuff, the crushing of the gravel. So I'll just skip them. They finished the chipping on 7700 and the Vandenberg. They look good. Just because I'm an outside source, I'll brag on Preston's crew a little bit. They really do a good job chipping. They're as good as anybody. And it looks good.
People
Drove
happy.
down there.
I'm sorry, but people are so happy when you get their new road.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember 2 years ago, I told those people out in Sunset Subdivision, well, it's going to be 2020, you know, and they kind of, but now it's here. It came quick, you know.
Yeah.
Time flies, and yeah.
Now they got asphalt clear to their house.
Yeah.
Yep,
it's,
goes all the way past.
Yeah, and then they did an AA and did their subdivision, a year ago or so. So
Yep.
so those people are real happy nowadays.
The garbage truck driver loves it as well. But they really do a good job. They've been hauling some gravel up the mountain, and they're moving into their new building, of course. I'm sure you guys knew that. Looks good. They're looking ahead they got to finish some patching on the Iron Springs Road, that road with the Sunrock trucks and just a lot more action out there. They're hauling gravel to the airport from Frank's Pit, so there's just a lot of trucks on that road. Then they've got to finish some chipping on Highway 91 south, and then they're going to do the Canara Cemetery Road, Mid-Valley Estates, Allard Ranch, and then the Rollo Lane is for the third chip. That'll be finished on the Rollo Lane finally. They're going to start fogging when that's done, but like Steve said, they're behind on chips, so they're going to go to patching until Mel has them chips made. And then they're going to place the gravel on the mountain in the meantime as well. They got a new loader, 724L. They like it. It's nice, Preston said. And then the fuel tanks, they got to replace the fuel tanks in the yard. They're the big fiberglass tanks they've got to do a replacement on. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them, but mostly I'll say definite maybe.
I just want to say our condolences to Preston as his father passed away about a week ago. And anyway,
So some of you might think that I'm dressed up for that, but I'm not. I dress up like this for you guys. Yeah, I'm headed there for that viewing.
thank you, Bruce.
You've already seen that, haven't you?
Thank you. I like it.
Okay, so if we'll just start with this first one, commission meeting, 6/22. Our budget is looking good. We don't have anything too crazy lately. We just finished the DEQ compliance evaluation inspection on Iron Springs and in Parowan, and we was found compliant in all areas of the landfill. And we started the re-permit process at the same time for those landfills. Every 10 years we have to get a new permit and re-permit and make sure that we're following all the things. It's going to change a little bit. I don't really want to go into that right now, but we will later. Once that gets permitted, I'll update you guys. But it just expands the footprint, really, is what it'll be. Got quarterly reports are due in July. All our employees are healthy and working. We had one tested for COVID, but it was a negative test. We had a fire in the MSW. That's the top pit, our main pit in the top, on Saturday night, but we got it out last night and we're in good shape. We're open and doing business. It was pretty deep. I was surprised. We never found the cause. Could have been a lot of things, but my guess is either chemicals or like a battery. The cordless drill batteries, dust buster batteries, those are probably 70% of what caused the fires. We don't know. It was 20 feet deep, so we pushed it out, processed the material, and it's back in now. And then I also, that's not on here, I send out to bid the metal, the recycled metal. There's about 1,400 to 1,500 tons of recycled metal that'll be sold. That bid will be back a week from today.
Does iron prices correlate with scrap prices?
They do. Yeah, it goes up and down all the time.
So it's up higher than it's been for a while then?
No.
No.
I've been waiting and waiting, but the pile's so big, I'm losing space. I think it's around $70 a ton.
How much did you say you had?
Oh, probably 1,500 tons.
Probably the big
lot.
pile we've accumulated in.
Yeah, and we have the space, and we've been waiting for prices to come up. It's a good income source. We bid it last time. I want to say it was $35 or $40 a ton. Elected to wait on it. Yeah. So
Years ago, it was way up to way high, wasn't it?
$200 is when
crazy.
it's heyday. Yeah. So
Look at the chart over the weekend.
Do you have any questions on that, on them things? On this next sheet, this is just a snapshot of where we are today, January 1 to 6/21. You can go through each one of them items and it'll tell you how many yards and tons we've done. Really, the bottom line there, 36,000 tons is what we've done this year. I got a little in 2019 we did 31,000, same dates, and in 2018 29,000. Down at the bottom on the left-hand side, it shows 16,107 tickets. That's how many customers we've had to date. And in 2019, you can see that we had 14,000. So we're up quite a bit. The pandemic really hasn't hurt us, maybe made us a little busier. People are home, and I think everybody's garage is pretty clean. There's a lot of smaller pickups that have come out, a lot of families, that kind of thing. But that just gives you a snapshot of where we were, or where we are. That next one that I handed out is just the signs we talked about last week after commission meeting. The top one has the red attention, or the top one has the brown attention, and the bottom has the red. I like the top one better. Wade put those together for us. So hopefully we can put them on 6,000 North over on Comstock Road, and then one in Paraguna. And then he can make some stickers as well that we can put on other locations. So I think it spells everything out.
I really think that'll help.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. It's got to help. But I think we're going to go forward with that. He hasn't had them made. He's been busy. They've been chipping, and so as soon as he gets them made, we'll get them up. Anybody have any questions?
What was that? The sheet kind of cut it off. What was the total tickets for 2020?
16,000.
16.
So on that sheet, it shows transactions and tickets, and the transactions means, so if somebody comes in with metal and wood, there's two different things. It's so the trucks, or the tickets is really the trucks that come in. Sometimes there's more transactions because they'll say, well, I want mulch at the end, or it's all on the same ticket, but it's different transactions. So it's 16,000, whatever it said on there. It's up about 2,000 tickets, 2,000 customers. So we've been busy. I hope we don't fall down when, I don't know, it's a good indicator of where the economy is usually. But I'll tell you next time what. I'm a good predictor in hindsight. I'm going to excuse myself and head to the viewing. So
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Great report. Appreciate you. Thanks, Steve. Do we have any reports from commissioners?
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything I can talk about. The 5 melons Steve did, and I guess we could say the concert was a success. It's good. Lots of people from all over, and I haven't heard of any cases of COVID that came from it. I don't know. But I just want to say that I felt safer out there than I did at Walmart. And I didn't go up by the stage with the young people, but we partook of the booze, and I don't know, it was just good. It was a good feeling, and everything worked so well. To, you know, with everything, all of our worries didn't come to pass, and that's a good thing. If you don't worry a little bit beforehand, then you probably will have some problems. But anyway, I thought it was really good.
It's good. I felt bad missing it. We had my in-laws in town that weekend. Actually, ended up out at Red Acre Farms to their bikes, bands, and burgers fundraiser, and it was parked my in-laws in front of the bluegrass band, and that made them happier than I've seen them in a long time. And the burgers were excellent. It was a great event. I know I think they try and do that monthly. The burger was so good. I'll have it on my calendar. It was fantastic. It was really a lot of fun. So I appreciate those small farming operations. You know, we kind of fought hard for them a couple of years ago to get them to be able to do what they want with their properties, and Red Acre Farms has really stepped up and done a fantastic job. I appreciate them and their support in the community.
They're great. Thank you. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
I want to just echo what Alma said about the concert. I thought it went well. I was worried about people getting out there with so much congestion, but it just worked out. It was amazing to watch everybody stream out of there, and we had good lighting. We had good fencing. It was organized well. The only thing that we kind of we meant to have the parking up in one spot. People throughout the event, people started parking down the road a ways. It didn't end up being a safety hazard or anything, but that was just one thing. If Frank ever does something, or that property owner ever does again, they might want to. Of course, they won't probably be using county land like they did on this one, but and however they do that, they might want to keep them away from them. But it wasn't a problem. I just wanted to share something on the record. This is a friend of mine that shared this on her Facebook feed, or on one of the feeds that was going about the concert. And this is an individual that works in healthcare. She works for IHC, and I appreciated her comment. She said, "Eric, I watched the concert live streamed. Thank you for streaming such an amazing event for those of us who couldn't make it. I have one very important thought about this event. We are on the verge of another health crisis that nobody wants to talk about. With daily doses of death, isolation, and psychological trauma, economic downturn, we are seeing a wave of depression, substance abuse, PTSD, and suicide. If just one person didn't try to kill themselves or drink themselves into oblivion last night because of this gathering, then you saved lives last night. And that, my friend, is newsworthy. She said, tell CNN to spread that all over our televisions and news feeds. God bless. And then soon after that, I got a text message from a friend of mine, and I had no idea this individual was struggling. But he sent me this note. He attended the concert, and he gave me permission to share this. But he said, between you and me, I've been struggling with depression pretty hard the last few weeks. It was really bad the last few days. It's been an exhausting battle that I didn't see an end to. I struggled to do things that I do every day, and it was just tiring. The concert last night helped more than I expected. The music and joy and the atmosphere was so wholesome and uplifting. At one point, I distinctly felt the mental burden melt away. It's no wonder the pioneers would circle the wagons and play music during their trials. Everyone there was so happy and cheerful. I met people I never would have met. Might have even gotten some business to work on from a vendor, which was unexpected. It was good for me to get out of the house with my wife and some friends and just do something. So thank you for what you and Eric and Colin and so many others did. It got me out of a hard situation, helped me feel normal again. So that's, we keep talking about COVID all these months and all these things, but there's other issues people are dealing with, and it was nice to have the positives of this pointed out by some, and I know it helped a lot of people and was a wonderful thing. And like Alma said, people that wanted to social distance, they had plenty of room. There was some that was over with lawn chairs on the hillside all by themselves. And Marilyn, I know you and your family were there, and you were up on that little hill kind of by yourselves. And so people that wanted to get away had plenty of room. And yes, there was some kind of compacted up front, but even those, the rows were 6 feet apart, with groups. And granted, there was some that didn't observe that totally, but it was a neat event, and it went really smooth. And glad that it went without any incident. The other thing, Mike, Commissioner Blake, I did get a sneeze guard made for the visitor center.
Oh, great.
So I got that done.
Excellent.
So and then Nate got the one done for. I went over measure it, gave him the sizes, and he got that done for the extension service. So I think
Awesome.
are we caught up on that?
Those are the only two of my departments that needed one, I believe.
So
Requested anything. So
one other thing too is the 5-county heat. What is it? The heat assistance center, is that what we call it? Program. They've moved out of that west row of buildings there at the visitor center that the county owns. They've moved out of that, and IT will be moving into that space. So, but other than that, is there anything else? Anybody else have any reports?
just one, as far as Council on Aging, I did meet with Curtis and give him the go-ahead to open up as he saw fit. And then I got him, tourism and the Chamber of Commerce have been providing those business packets with the dots that encourage social distancing and the 6-foot ruler you put on the floor. I got him one of those kits to utilize in the Council on Aging Center. And so we should be moving forward there.
Perfect. Okay.
Excellent. So is there any work that needs to be done on that area where the space where the heat program was before IT can move in?
No, I don't know.
I don't either.
I
I should know that.
I can check with Jared and see.
I think they were. I know they were moving forward, and I think if there was issues, they'd let us know or bring it to our attention, or just take care of it. So.
Very good.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and take a short recess and reconvene at 10 a.m.
I've got it streaming now, so whenever Commissioner Blake.
Okay.
I'm fine, how are you?
I drove up, I'm surprised I didn't see you. I drove my family up to Campbell Show yesterday. There's a lot of counties in there. Where's your county?
Well, there's 160 dead on the forest permit there, and 50 of them are ours. And the forest actually starts right down there, so Saturday they just took them up, just dumped them right there.
You a long-term,
They're way up, well, some of them headed up towards second left-hand, that big water, the shade.
Oh, that grass is beautiful in there.
Yeah.
I love that.
And we went up there and tried to get them out, and they just turned back on us. So they went, and it was really the heat of the day, So my nephew and guys went there and they came and took care of it.
We wanted to get out and go for a ride, so we drove up there. I showed Mary and the girls over there.
Yeah, that's one thing we'll need to do. Cows, so my cows can't get in.
So, where are they at on this 5 mile campground?
Well, they are going to give us a special use.
I just start right here. So we're still in the permitting process.
Yeah, and this gal, really nice gal down there, but she's got a bunch of them growing and she hasn't got ours done, but she's come up with this great idea that, hey, there's a flood issue now, a permitted issue, and Veronica went for it. So we're gonna meet with Steve O'Neill, the Forest Service engineer, and the engineers, and figure out what we're gonna do and we'll get going on it. Which really does need to be done. There is water running right up the east end there where that restroom is, and back to those
Reed.
the tables. Hey, morning. That far from the top of the table. They're almost covered up. And water running through and little rivulets here and there, but hopefully we can fix that.
Did you find anything?
Yes.
Well, they've never done that. They've not even.
I'll have to keep you stopped.
Had a document up there.
Got a fridge full of the soda nerd, so. Should bring.
John, are we ready then?
Yeah, it's rolling.
Let's roll. Yep.
Yeah, well, they fixed that.
All right. Well, welcome back to our county commission meeting this Monday, the 22nd day of June, 2020. We will start with item number 1, proposed zone change from residential R5 to residential 2, R2. And this is a discussion and consideration for approval. This is approximately 50.82 acres located within the east half, northeast quarter section 9, township 35 South, Range 11 West, Salt Lake Basin and Meridian, Iron County, Utah. APN number D-528-2-1, recommended by the Planning Commission for approval. And the applicant is Preston Nelson. Reed?
Good morning, Commissioner. I will mention that Preston is not here. Most of you are probably aware that his father passed away last week, and so they're having funeral services this morning. So he would otherwise like to have been here, but I'll represent this application. John, if you'll just advance us a little bit to the next next one. Show you a map of the area to the next one, John. The other way. Other direction.
Oh, did you, not this map?
No, just go down the other direction.
All right.
Yeah, there's a general area to show you where we're located. If you zoom in, maybe the next one, you can see it's just north of Mid Valley Road and off of 2300 West. You go to the next one, John. You can see this is the existing zoning in the area. If you'll zoom in just a little bit, John, where the star is. The surroundings, this property is zoned R5, which is the gold color. It has R2 to the west of it, so the road 2300 West is the road that divides right there between them. Go down to the next one, John. Is it better, John, to do this as a PDF or a PowerPoint so that you can slide them? Is that easier?
Well, that way you can control it better.
Okay.
This works, it's just a little wonky.
This is the 50-acre property here that you can see with the star on it, and it is it has 2300 West on the west side. You want to scroll down to the next one. This just is a land ownership map showing the adjacent property owners, all of whom have been notified. You can see that from the previous map that is zoned R2 adjacent to this. The reason that even though they're dividing the property and part of this is subject to and is in conjunction with the next item, which is a minor subdivision request for 9 lots, even though the lots are only 5 acres each, the applicant is desirous that the width of the minimum width requirement for frontage on a 5-acre R5 lot is 300 feet, and they wanted to have just a little narrower frontage on there. And so what we're doing is allowing or recommending, the County Planning Commission recommended approval to go to R2 because it's R2 adjacent to it, both to the south and on the east side. Next, John. The property, a couple of these highlights, the property will be served by sewer off of the Cedar City sewer system and water off of the Central Iron County Water Conservancy District. Cedar City has responded, even though it's within their annexation area and in the Tier 2, that they're not desirous of providing services and annexing that far. It's not eligible for annexation because it's not adjacent to any current city. And so they gave us a letter saying that they will forego their interest in annexing. There's gas to the property, there's electric, it's all ready to go, and most of you are familiar with that area and recognize we have a number of subdivisions on the west side of 2300 West that are all served by the water and not the sewer, but this one will be served with sewer. We have retained a 100-foot easement along the back side on the east of the properties for the Stevensville flood control. And we don't have any concerns with the irrigation, livestock, or any of those concerns that we typically review when we do subdivision and zone change. Next, John.
The header says A20 to light industrial, but it should be R5 to R2?
A mistake, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Probably
It is
just used a
R5 to
form,
R2.
yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know why. So that's really what it is about. The zone change requires the public hearing, and so we've attached this item with a public hearing for input, and then the zone change can be handled separately, and then the next item would be the proposal for the subdivision, and I can talk about that just a little bit more. Okay?
Thank you, Reed. So we'll go ahead and declare a public hearing open on this agenda item. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this? Seeing, are we zoomed, John? Are we being zoomed over the internet? Is there anybody any comment?
Look there. Let's see. Yep, just me.
Very good. Seeing none, I will declare this public hearing closed. And entertain a motion.
Take action on this item.
So we'll take action on this now.
Okay, you ready for a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I move approval of approximately 50.82 acres located within the east 1/2, northeast 1/4, section 9, township 35 south, range 11 west, Salt Lake Basin, Meridian, Iron County, Utah, recommended by the Planning Commission for approval. A zone change from R5 to residential to R2.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as described. Any further discussion on the motion? If not, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
We're to
Item number two. Yeah. Now that the property has been rezoned, it's eligible to be subdivided as proposed. John, do you go ahead to the other direction. Go ahead, keep going.
All right.
Keep going. This is the subdivision proposal. You can see that they are just narrow lots. They have about 185 foot of frontage, which 165 is the minimum for R2, and that's why they wanted to zone R2, is because they wanted to be less than 300 feet. And so it works. What we did do, as you can see on the plat, we required that each two lots share a common driveway, and there's a little pad that would come off that would be paved similar to 2300 West, so that it'll carry that pavement from 2300 West into the property by 30 feet. There'll be a 30 by 30 entrance shared by each two lots, split between them. So the subdivision qualifies as a minor subdivision because there are no dedications for roads or easements other than the public utility easements, which are fine to be done in a minor subdivision. But because they all front on the road, and that was part of the reason that they wanted to do this minor subdivision, is so that there wouldn't be road dedications, and they qualify for the minor subdivision. We do have the improvement drawings because there will be water and sewer run onto each lot, and those public access, or the access driveways that go across the rights of way, there will be paved from the edge of the 2300 West asphalt pavement onto the property by 30 feet. So we have bonding in place for that. It was 110% of the construction cost, which was around $46,763. We have a bond for those improvements, and so the construction drawings have been approved, and it meets and qualifies for the minor subdivision. The Planning Commission recommended approval, and we have all the documents, and the plat has all been signed other than the commission and the attorney. So it qualifies in every way, and staff recommends approval.
Very good. Thank you, Reed. I'll entertain.
No public hearing required for this.
Okay, very good. Okay, motion.
All right, I would move for approval of the proposed minor subdivision, Riding Acres minor subdivision, including 9 lots located at approximately 5300 North, 2300 West, Cedar City, Utah, 84721. Approximately 50.82 acres located within the east half, northeast quarter, Section 9, Township 35 South, Range 11 West, Salt Lake Base Meridian, Iron County, Utah. And note that it has been recommended for approval by the Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded as described. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Would you like me to just bring that up for
Sure.
your signature?
I can come down there.
They can get it recorded today. I'll take it. Don, you have an attest if you want to put your signature, and I'll take it down and have it stamped. John, you want to just sign right there?
I don't know. Should we do that one?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll go to agenda item number 3, public comments. Limit of 3 minutes per speaker, and not intended for anything on the agenda. Anyone like to make any public comments today? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4, USU extension, introduction of the new county Ag Natural Resources Agent, Kathy Riggs. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's good to be here this morning, and I'm very pleased to have you meet our new Ag Natural Resources faculty member who will be serving in a position that's been made vacant since Chad passed away. And we're excited for you to meet him and get acquainted. So I'll turn the time over to him to introduce himself to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Randall Violet. Came
to Cedar City about 7 years ago to work at Southern Utah University. Got a reputation of filling in behind legends. I came in behind Jim Bounds and started the range program at SUU. And now I find myself following Chad Reed. So it's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be a part of the Extension Service in Iron County. So look forward to working with you and the folks in Iron County. So I'd entertain any questions if you have any questions.
What was your last name again? Violet?
Violet, just like the color, with 2 T's.
Great, thank you.
Welcome, and I like your tie. That's awesome.
Thank you. I am an old sheep farmer from Wyoming. So before I came to SUU, I was at University of Wyoming in Powell, Wyoming.
Powell.
Worked at a research and extension center up there for several years too. So.
That's where our family comes from.
Pardon?
That's where our family comes from.
Oh, really?
Bighorn,
Oh, yeah,
Bighorn
cousins,
Basin.
sure. Yeah, I know.
You've probably seen that name up there. haven't
I've
you?
seen that name a lot up there. Yeah,
Oh, welcome.
great. Thank you.
Look
Well,
forward to working with you.
Yeah.
You're from Wyoming. You're a good guy. So.
If I wear a sheep tie and I'm from Wyoming, I can't be all bad, can I?
Yeah.
Yeah. You might say to the public, AKA county agent, is what we used to always call this.
Right.
So,
right,
yeah, he's a new county agent. So,
Yep.
really glad to have you. Welcome.
Nice to meet you, Randall. Thank you for
Great.
being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks, Kathy.
You bet. And
Appreciate
before
it.
I yield to the microphone, I just wanted to thank you for making it possible for us to have that sneeze guard in place. That's now been mounted, and we're going to
Excellent.
make it work. So
Good.
thanks for that.
You're welcome.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 5. Discussion approval of interlocal agreement amendment between Iron County and Canaryville Town for the management of Canara Falls recreational area. Mike? And we appreciate David Ance and members of the Canaryville Town Council here with us. Appreciate you guys being here. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is more of a housekeeping consideration than anything. A couple of years ago, we moved into agreement with Sitla to lease the section of property that contains the Canara Falls. And since then, we have moved into a situation where Canaryville has more or less been able to take over and manage that falls, the traffic, the people, the water systems, and everything else that goes along with that. So what this agreement does is just kind of catches up to where we are today. We did lease the property, and then we're subleasing the property to Canaryville for management of it. And the agreement takes out where the county would be regulating the fees and charging the fees and managing the fees, to where the town now has their own system where they do that all themselves, and we don't have to collect the fees and transfer the money to Canaryville. It makes it a lot smoother. It also allows an arrangement to be made with the search and rescue on an annual basis, where the town would negotiate a donation to the search and rescue based on the number of incidents that happened that year. And so that's kind of takes care of a lot of concerns that were in place there. And that's basically all it is. The hope is that through this year, if everything goes right, that the county would be able to back out of the agreement with Sitla and allow the town to enter into the lease agreement with Sitla to manage that themselves, and the city and the county would have no more fingers in the mix at all. So that's basically what it is.
Thank you.
Well, this has been a really good collaboration. We appreciate all the Canaryville folks and the good relationship we've had. And I move approval of the interlocal agreement amendment 1 between Iron County and Canaryville Town for the management of Canaryville Falls recreation area.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the interlocal agreement amendment 1 between Iron County and Canaryville Town for the management of Canara Falls recreation area. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you for
Okay.
to that, Mike.
And you'll take care of that and get signed copies to the town and, okay.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Very much.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Is,
And Dave, I'll get that to you probably later this week. We're going to come down and switch out ballot boxes anyway, so, okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to item number 6, possible approval of the single event UTV rally, Rally in the Valley, to be held at Iron Springs Adventure Resort on July 29th, through August 1st, 2020. Is there anybody here from DMP Performance? If not, I read through that and it looked great. I'm excited that the Nichols family are having some fun events out to their property, and this looks like it'll be a great one. It looked like everything was handled with safety issues and different things as I read it. Is there anybody here to represent DMP on this issue? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
This is in part, based on the off-highway vehicle trail systems that we've got, and they're using a lot of those trail systems that we put together for this ride. And I'm excited because it's the first one we've had, here in Iron County, where the surrounding counties have kind of taken over. Can't hardly book a weekend now without a jamboree somewhere, and it's all outside the county, so this is good.
That's great. Will this be the start of something, a yearly event, or?
I'm hoping, and I think that the Trailblazers OHV Club is also hoping the same thing.
Great. Super.
Okay. Well, I would move for approval of a single event UTV Rally in the Valley to be held at Iron Springs Adventure Resort on July 29th through August 1st, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, as described by Commissioner Blake. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Agenda item number 7, discussion regarding a proposal to sell lots located in a Fisher subsidence area. This part of this meeting may be closed, and we, I guess, John, did we decide we want to? Do we want to discuss this a little bit first and then go into closed meeting, or do we need to go into closed meeting?
You can. I would maybe recommend having the majority of that discussion in
Closed session. Okay.
And then if the commission decides to move forward, then that'll begin a 14-day sunshine period, and when we come out of closed session, you'll move whether or not to move forward with that purchase, and that'll begin that process where I advertise it and stuff. But you might want to discuss the details in a closed session.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to move into closed session.
So moved.
So
You have to state the purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be closing this meeting to discuss the, let's see, the issue to sell lots located in the Fisher subsidence area. Is that
to
basically
discuss the sale of real
the
property
s-
per Utah Code annotated 524205D, that as
Okay.
listed there on item 7.
So
Suggest that you just move that to the end and do the rest of the agenda.
we talked about that,
It was-
Cindy, but John mentioned that we might want to add something in relation to that in item number 9. So, is it,
If the answer is no, these parcels may want to be added. The commissioners may choose to add those to the insignificant list of parcels. Otherwise, yeah, I agree. I think it's generally better to put those closed sessions at the end, just for everybody doesn't have, so everyone has to sit there and twiddle their thumbs. So
We don't serve refreshments either for the waiting time, sorry.
so
we totally should.
We totally should.
So Commissioner Adams, did you add that to your motion?
Yeah, I move that we go into closed session to consider the sale of real estate per UCA 52-4-205D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to move into closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
And I would suggest, Commissioner,
It should be
where we're in
on
the
the
middle of the
end.
meeting, let's maybe retire to the other.
Yeah, if you guys all want to stay here, we can slip into this back room.
No, you don't need to go.
Yeah.
John, apparently that's supposed
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've already put us in
You good?
executive session.
Yeah, it's off. I was watching it online.
It's back on now.
It's back on. So, just real quick, just for the record, we're going to be moving into closed session to discuss the sale of real estate, and it's actually the code is 52-4-20 or 205. I'm sorry, and it's E instead of D. Thank you.
So typo there.
John?
Uh-huh.
All right, we're back. We will declare this this closed session adjourned or closed. Just to give some background on this, it's a little bit complicated, but this is regarding some property out in the Enoch area. It was a subdivision that was built by a developer. It had some fissures that appeared, which caused severe problems with utilities, land movement, different things, and so it went into bankruptcy. It's just been kind of a complicated. There's like 106 lots in this subdivision. None of them are buildable because there's no utilities or no sewer, water, anything, and so it's gotten kind of complicated. There's been an offer on this property. There's 24.86 acres of this is owned by Iron County. There's 32.05 acres owned by Enoch City. There's been some negotiations with the buyer and Enoch City with some different land exchanges going on. But basically, we would like to basically direct our clerk, John Whitaker, to there's a 14-day advertisement to other potential buyers that would be interested in this property. And there's some road realignments for some right-of-ways existing and so forth. And so we would like our clerk to advertise this for the 14-day period per state code for any other potential buyers. Does that sum it up, John?
Mm-hmm. I would also mention that one of the things that came out of it, there was a letter of intent that Enoch City sent to Iron County that outlines all that, and one other, besides realigning that road, one other potential public benefit of this would be to the creation of a retention basin for high water events in Enoch City.
Okay. All right. Very good. Any other comments on this issue? Mike, are we good? So that takes care of agenda item number 7. We'll go to item number 8, the disposition of remaining 3 parcels from the May 28, 2020 tax sale, which were held over from the June 8th, 2020 meeting. Action requested. The 2 properties struck off to the county and 1 redeemed property deeded to the owner of record prior to tax sale. Christine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, when we met last commission meeting on the tax sale, there was 3 properties that were still kind of up in the air, and the individuals that had been the successful bidders on the tax sale were not going to pay. So we contacted Bid for Assets to have them contact the second to last bidders to see if they would take the properties at the bid that they made, and all 2 declined. The third property, all 3 declined. So that left us with the 3 properties, one of which was the house that was occupied. Dan Jessen, the county auditor, he contacted Stephen Brown, no relation to the Stephen Brown in Cedar City, in Texas, who is the son of Stanley Brown, whose name is on the home, but he is deceased. And Stephen was able to come up with the money to pay the back taxes, penalties, and interest, which made the county whole, which is basically all we really wanted in the first place. So that property will be deeded back to Stanley Brown. Even though he is deceased, we will return it to how it was deeded prior to the tax sale, and then it will be up to Stephen and his sister to get things either, moved over into their name or whatever they decide to do at that time. And then the other two properties, let's see, a property number 9 and number 106 on the tax sale.
19, you mean?
What did I say? 9?
No,
Yes.
yeah, 19. Okay.
Yes, number 19 and 106, thank you, are to be struck off to the county. That is what I recommend, since nobody has basically bid on them. And then, as I mentioned, the quitclaim deed will go back to Stanley Brown, so that it is no longer in the county's name. And we're not responsible, and we don't want to be landlords. That's never our intention. So that's my recommendation, is those two properties struck off to the county, and the other one is quitclaim deed back to Stanley Brown.
Okay, ready
Okay.
for motion?
Yep.
Regarding the disposition of the remaining 3 parcels from the May 28, 2020 tax sale, the action that I moved is to be taken is to strike off the first 2 properties to the county. That's county item number 19, county item number 106. The third property would be deeded back to the original owner by the name of Stanley R. Brown, the owner prior to the tax sale.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, per described by Commissioner Adams. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. We'll get that recorded today. That's okay. That's all I need. Thank you so much. What are you doing next? The property not sold and struck off to be put on the list. Is that Dan? Is it me? Dan, are you going to address item number 9, the parcels to be put on the list, or is that me? Okay.
Okay, you're up.
I hope to do it justice.
Well, let me read it just for the minutes. Approval of the list, item number 9, approval of the list of properties not sold and struck off to the county to update unsold properties to these insignificant real properties to be sold within the county clerk's office.
Okay, as per our procedures and ordinances, the parcels that are not sold on the tax sale, on the May tax sale, get struck to the insignificant parcel list, and that list is maintained by my office. So basically, it's kind of a handoff from the auditor's office to the clerk's office, and then we kind of maintain that list in perpetuity. Recalling that last year the commission voted to lower the minimum price to $350 and trying to move some more of those, and we did. So those parcels will move, and I don't know how many parcels they are, will move to the insignificant list. How many parcels are they?
2.
Just the 2.
Yeah. And they're on that.
So they go from the tax sale to the insignificant list then, basically. They don't go back. We don't try again next year. We just move it to that list.
There were no other unsold parcels.
No, that was the beauty of the.
Would come up and talk. This is why you would be better to address this one.
But once we give them to you and then you put them on the.
Well, let's start with there were no other unsold parcels.
Normally, there's quite a few unsold parcels. With the online format, all of them were sold. We just had 3 that were non-payers. And the one that was a challenge was it was a house, and it clearly wasn't an unsold parcel. And the other differentiating factor is they were trying to pay. It was just after the deadline.
They were like minutes late.
They wanted to redeem it, and it was minutes late. The auction had already started. That's why we went ahead and allowed them to redeem it after the fact. The other 2 still, after all the contact we've tried to make and all that stuff, so they'll go on to the insignificant parcel list. But they were sold. The buyer never paid. But they were more of your traditional undesirable.
Those two that did pay, was there a bid deposit?
Yeah.
How much?
They had to deposit $235.
They lost that.
They lost their deposit, and they'll be blacklisted from future auctions. The one erroneously bid this thing up to like 11 grand. What they didn't realize, and it says clear as day in the thing, that it's an undivided interest. So meaning you're not buying the whole piece of property, and if you were, it may have been worth what they were bidding, but you're buying a shared interest with other owners in this property, and I don't know how many times that was divided, but in that, quite a few. So you're owning an unnamed portion of that parcel. So you and all the other owners of that parcel, if you buy it, and once the winning bidder realized what they had bought, they said, we're not doing it, we're out. And normally in a live auction, even though we're not required above and beyond what we already list, I will stop the auction and say, now you realize you're buying an undivided interest in this property, not the entire property. And usually that keeps people from bidding unless they know what they're buying, and then they do buy that. Sometimes people want to buy those. Sometimes they want to gather up the other interest if they already own part of it, or they just want to have access to
There's one guy that wanted
the
to run
land.
sheep on one.
Yeah, we had one that it was an undivided interest in like 40 acres, and he's like, I just want to go hunting there. You know, I'm as much an owner as all the other owners, and they can't stop me from hunting on it. So, but in this case, the winning bidder actually thought they were buying the whole property, and they weren't. So those two that were sold but not paid for, and now what we're talking about will go to the end. But all of them were technically sold.
So from my perspective, it's a very different.
Yes.
Because I'm only going to get the 2 parcels to the list versus often dozens.
Yeah, dozens and dozens, yeah.
Yeah.
And all of the properties that we decided not to take to the tax sale, the campsites.
Yeah, and those don't go on my list. We were just consolidating those
We're consolidating
over time.
those won't go onto the list. That's right.
Yeah, it's been decades.
So yeah, I can speak to it, I guess, but officially, it's a function of your office to put them on your list, right?
But I didn't know the story behind it. Thank you.
Yeah. Good with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Okay. I guess we need a motion on this.
So I would move for approval of the list of properties not sold be struck off to the county, and those specific items are county number 19 and county number 106, that they be added to the insignificant real properties list to be dealt with within the clerk's office.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, per described by Commissioner Blake. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number 10, personnel in corrections. Item number 1, approval of new hire Brandon Rowley as a Deputy 1 trainee, backfill from a vacant position. Effective date June 29th, 2020. Did I steal your thunder, Jennifer?
No, not at all. Thank you. Good morning. Yes, Brandon Murley was selected from the most recent competitive recruiting and interview process to backfill for the vacant Deputy 1 training position in the Iron County Jail, effective date 6/29/2020. And he's here today, so I'm going to embarrass him and have him stand.
Great. Hi, Brandon.
He's going to regret coming.
Welcome.
Here, may as well.
Yeah, definitely. This is Brandon.
I'm Brandon Rowley. I grew up here in Parowan, so I know Commissioner Adams pretty well. But yeah, I'm excited to have been selected to work at for the Iron County Jail, and excited to go along with that.
Right.
If anybody has any questions,
You're related to Ben.
That's my dad.
I figured. I apologize.
Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Doesn't he sound just like him, though?
Yeah, he does. And your dad and I are good friends. We've worked together for many years. He's a good man, so we're happy to have you.
Well, I appreciate that. Maybe I should have kept that secret. I don't know, Ben.
I don't know if you could.
I know Brandon, and I still highly recommend him. So that's
Thank you.
Sounds like you're in, Brandon.
Awesome. Thank you.
2 good references right there.
Definitely. There you go. Can't ask for anything better. All right, and then next is the approval for new hire Sam Smith. Sam was selected from the most recent competitive recruiting and interview process to backfill for the vacant Deputy 1 trainee position in Iron County Jail, effective date 6/28/2020. And that's all I have.
Very good. Entertain a motion.
Okay, I move in the Corrections Department, we approve the new hire of Brandon Rowley as a Deputy 1 trainee, backfill of a vacant position, effective date June 29th, 2020. Also, in corrections, approval of new hire Sam Smith as a Deputy 1 trainee, backfill from a vacant position effective June 28, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded for the personnel changes in the corrections department as described. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, looks like we're on to any prairie dog matters today. Yeah, or county boards. I know that I've had a couple contact me with a desire to serve on boards when we have some of those things come up. I don't know where we're at with, and those two individuals were interested in planning commission. I don't know where we're at with that board and dates and things, but I've got a couple names.
I'm not sure where we are with dates and such, but I talked with Blake DeMille the other day, kind of extensively about that. That's something I think by the end of the year we're going to need to start to address, and so that's good for if we've got some interest there. Those
pass those names on to you.
Yeah, we need to start thinking about that now, because I think by the end of the year we're going to have a couple of seats at least come up and need to be starting to look at that. So
you think two, maybe?
I think two, possibly more. I've been told two. We approved the new economic development board last go around. We did meet. It was very productive. So I think that was a good thing to get in place, and we're moving forward on those grant opportunities. So that one got active really quick, so it was good.
Perfect. Anything, Commissioner Adams? Okay, well, I think we're done. Thanks for your attendance. We'll declare this meeting adjourned.